evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Mahoning Drive-In Theater, the largest single-screen drive-in in the United States. We're certainly glad you could be with us this evening, and don't forget the concession stand is open with all kinds of great things to eat and drink.
.3 Mahoning Drive-In Radio, your old friend Virgil back once again for another exciting episode of the podcast. As you guys know, the only podcast dedicated to the love and revival of our beloved drive-in culture. Joined as always by my co-host and general manager extraordinaire, Mark. Say hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Joined as well by Jeff, our owner and projectionist, and I always call him King Jeff. Say hello, Jeff.
Hello, Jeff.
And we're really excited. We've been having the most fun with this series, I guess you could call it, of interviews with drive-in owners across the country. We have not only been inspired by their stories and their passion, but it really also gives the opportunity for us to shine a light on what they're doing and pick their brains on what works and what doesn't. So on a business level, it's been really fantastic. And today we are joined by Krista Forte, director at the historic Santee Drive-In out of Santee, California, which is right outside of San Diego, from what I understand. And they've been running since 1958 with a 2-screener. So welcome, Krista. Super excited to have you.
Hi, thank you so much. Super excited to be here.
And just like a couple of the owners that we talked to, you're open tonight, right?
Yes, we're open 365 days a year, so we never take a day off, rain or shine.
Ah, that California weather.
Wow. We're lucky.
Well, I got to ask right out of the gate, because we are a seasonal outfit in PA at the Mahoning. Is it a grind? Does it become a grind? For us, we find that break right in the middle of the season, or right at the end of the season, really gives us time to rev up for the next run of the year.
Totally, yeah. I mean, just like you guys would imagine, winters are a lot slower, even with the California weather. We kind of got unlucky this year. It's been cold for the Californians, like low 40s at night. So, yeah, the winters are definitely slow, but summers are what keeps us in business. Kids are out for school. And yeah, we just try to keep it open every day as much as we can. Of course, sometimes there's projection issues and things like that, but for the most part, yeah, we're always open.
That's fantastic. You know, it's one of those situations, we say it, if we could be open year round, we love what we do so much that we wish we could. It's more than anything Mother Nature who's forcing our hands. So I'm really excited because it can go one way or the other with these interviews, where we're really tapping into the history of the theater, being that it is family owned and operated and passed on down the line. Or it's a different situation where somebody has come in and revived the theater or put their own twist on the theater, taking it over from the original owner. But you are the latter. You are part of the original 2 families that started the Santee?
Yes, that's right. So my grandfather, John Forte, he bought the land with his colleague, Walt Long, in 1958. It was just a big dirt patch in Santee, California, which is about 30 minutes northeast of downtown San Diego. So it was definitely not a happening area back then.
Right.
But yeah, so he purchased the land with Walt, and they actually were just gonna kind of hold the land and hope it appreciated in a few years. And they thought, what could we put here that doesn't cost a lot of money, but will bring people in? And they decided to build a drive-in, and they actually built the first screen themselves, just them 2, with a hammer and nails, all the way back in 1958. And yeah, so it's been in the family ever since then. The Long family actually ran and managed it all the way up until 2020. So we have always been the owners, but they helped us manage it for like 63 years. And then they decided to retire in 2020. So the Forte family, my mom and her 4 siblings are actually the owners. So I'm just the daughter and niece that kind of helps with all the day-to-day. I live out here in San Diego. They're up in Orange County, so it's a little easier when I live closer.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, it's pretty essential. We all travel in. None of us live on the lot per se, but
Right.
yeah, it really helps. There's a lot that has to go into running the business, especially when it never ends.
Definitely, yes. There's always little things that come up last minute. That's just part of running the business, as you guys know. But yeah, it's nice. I only live about 20 minutes from there, so easy to pop down. Yeah.
Well, give us a little bit of an idea of the layout. I mean, we all have an idea of San Diego area, but are you rural? Are you kind of built up, as far as businesses being right next door situation?
Sure, yeah. So it's actually in an industrial area. When my grandpa first built it, it was really just like dirt, land, and warehouses.
Nothing. Right,
Yeah. We actually backed up right to the San Diego River, which is kind of a cool feature. You can't really see it from like your car, but if you got out of your car and walked up to the fence line, you could definitely see the river. It's only about 10 feet from our screen, which can be scary at times when it rains.
You're like, please, 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 please.
But luckily that hasn't happened to us yet. But yeah, now Santee is actually like when I used to go to the drive-in when I was a kid. I'm 28, so like about 20 years ago, the only restaurant there was a Chili's, and that was the only place you could eat before the movie, after the movie. But now we have everything: Costco, Home Depot, every restaurant you can imagine. So it's definitely in an up and coming area now, but the drive-in is about like 5 minutes from downtown Santee, so still in an industrial area, no major businesses nearby.
Right. I love when the drive-in becomes the staple of the landscape, where you guys were there when nothing was there, and the world has built up around you, and you're still existing with that same screen, that same building, that same plot of land. It's incredible.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we have 2 screens now. I think the second one was built in like the 70s, and so we've had 2 screens for a while. But yeah, it's definitely a local staple. Most of our audience are local families, just like my family, who has been going for generations. So it's pretty cool to see.
I am obsessed with anybody who gets to grow up around a drive-in. It's all of the reason that we're here, all 3 of us. We fell in love with the drive-in at a young age. So I gotta ask, being that your family owned a drive-in when you were a kid, like, what was that like? Was it like your playground?
Yes, it was so much fun. I grew up in Orange County, so really at night when there's no traffic, it only takes about 45 minutes to get down to the drive-in. So we went pretty often as kids. We would get in our pajamas before we left the house, drive down to the drive-in. The kids would watch the first movie. We do 2 movies back to back. And then we would fall asleep, and then our parents would watch the second movie and then drive home 45 minutes and no traffic. So it was really a fun memory and something we did every couple months, really.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Having it at your beck and call, it's like, what a dream. I always imagined living right next to a drive-in, just so I could constantly watch the movies, even from the comfort of my own home. That was always like the pinnacle. But having your family own one, that's as I'd say just as good.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
That's too cool. Do you have any choice memories stand out from when you were a kid? And in that same note, what are kind of the differences from when you were going as a kid to now? Were there any additions from then to now, or is it very much the same?
Yeah, it is very much the same building, like you said, and same screens. I think one of my most fun memories is actually like in high school when I could tell my friends, hey, my family owns a drive-in. We all just got our driver's license. Let's go.
Like, you just became the coolest girl in school.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, that was definitely fun to do. A few late nights, but a lot of fun.
That's so cool. Well, I'm going to stick with you before we dig into the history a little bit of the theater. So you became the operator, what, over the last couple years?
Yes. So my mom and her four siblings, there's three brothers and two sisters. They got ownership from their father, my grandfather, who passed away in the 90s. So they've been the sole owners ever since he passed away. And so now I really am just like a director role, and my mom and I are really the most hands-on out of the whole family. So yeah, that's kind of my position. I try to run the website, social media, book the movies. You guys know all that fun stuff. So
Oh yeah, it's a lot of hats to wear. That
Is for sure. I think it's amazing the fact that you guys are doing this as a family operation, truly a family operation, and keeping it alive. Now, I gotta ask again, because of the 7 days a week situation, is this something that you saw yourself getting into? Did you always have it in the back of your mind, like, like the family drive-in is an option, or what's the case there as far as the lure to bring you into the fold?
that's a good question. No, honestly, I never thought I'd be working for the drive-in. The Long family had been, doing all the day-to-day operations for so long. We kind of never thought that we would do it ourselves, especially living a little further away. But in 2020, when the Long family retired, it was really, we try to run it ourselves or we hire another managing team to come run it for us. And so my mom just said, "Hey, you're living in San Diego now. Do you want to help me?" And I said, "Of course, it's family." I do have two other full-time jobs, so I'm very busy, but
Oh my
luckily,
goodness.
I know, luckily a lot of the drive-ins at night, so I can work during the day.
Yeah, well, we all know it's a balance, making it work with your regular job, your full-time job,
Right.
is always the balance. But I mean, it sounds like you guys have quite the business model figured out. I'm going to ask about the swap meet. We started doing flea markets this year. It's one of the new things that we're bringing back to the Mahoning.
Oh,
And
awesome.
infamously, it didn't work when the old management tried to get it off the ground. But it sounds like you guys have a really, really solid built-in market with this swap meet. So when did that start, and what is that whole situation like?
Yeah, the swap meet does really well for us. I'm not exactly sure when it started, honestly, as long as I can remember. We
Right.
do have another partner who runs the swap meets fully, so they really just pay us rent on those days that,
We were so curious about that because,
oh
like,
yeah,
it says online 4:30 start. I guess like vendors load in at 4:30, and most
yes,
nights, like we're coming in for a landing at 4 o'clock. So I'm like,
right.
does she have crew that just rolls over into the?
That's so funny. No, yeah,
Makes no
sometimes
sense.
we used to do like an ABA format. So we'd play the first movie, different second movie, and then the first movie again.
Oh
And
wow.
when we did that, we just stopped, I think, in 2021. So we were doing it for a long time. But when that was happening, the swap meet people would run into the drive-in people
All of a
like
sudden
as they're
lights would start
closing.
coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But no, we have a full other management team that kind of runs the swap meet, thankfully. Else, yeah, that would be another hat we'd have to wear.
I mean, it sounds like it's its own thriving business. When I looked at the numbers, you guys pull like what, 3,500 people over a weekend?
Yes, yes. It's super, super busy. Saturdays and Sundays, pretty much every single weekend. So yeah, they do great business, mostly local people.
Yeah.
Anyone can come, show up. You don't have to apply. You just show up and you can sell. We're trying to bring in some food vendors and music and fun things like that for the family
Yeah.
recently. So that's been popular for sure.
So is your snack bar open during the swap meet, or is that just entirely handled by the other entity?
No, we don't open the snack bar during the swap meet, mainly because we wouldn't have that much time to clean it, after the movies and then
Yeah,
before.
it's always open.
Yeah, it's just always open. But we have food vendors that come, like they make breakfast burritos, they make everything. So yeah, that part's pretty cool.
And that's the whole idea behind it for us is it brings the locals out, even for something that's not a movie event. And you know it, when people come to the drive-in and are captivated by it, it locks into their brain. They're like, maybe we'll do that this weekend. So I imagine it's a great promotional aspect for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm sure you guys know, like we try to use all that land as much as possible, even during the days. So yeah, it helps that we can have a business during the days and then another one at night to try to utilize all the time possible.
It's so great, so smart, and a lot of drive-ins now do it, some with more success than others, but I love the fact that your guys' swap meet is kind of built into your history. It's long running. It's not this thing that you recently launched and are trying to get off the ground. It is like a part of the Santee experience.
Right, totally. Yeah, I think that's why it is so successful, because everyone knows the swap meet will be open and they just can come any weekend they want and we'll always be there. So yeah.
Get your goods.
Been there
Get
for
your
so long.
goods.
Oh yeah,
It's
a lot of good deals. You can find pretty much anything there.
I ran a thrift store for a short period of time, and it's when the record bug bit me and I started collecting records and all that, and nothing is better than a solid flea market.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you can definitely find things that you can't find anywhere else there.
So cool. We hope that's the case with this year. It just brings the unique finds to the lot for the fans to dig through. So we're huge lovers of the drive-in aesthetic. What's your layout as far as a marquee, your entryway, anything kind of stand out and unique about the Santee aspects?
Yeah, definitely. So we have a very big marquee. We're just off the freeway, which helps. So at night, everyone driving by can see it. And then our property is a little unique. We have a super long driveway, which is actually helps us because on those busy nights, I'm sure you guys know.
Oh, yeah. Keeping them off the road. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. We definitely have stopped traffic once or twice. But yeah, so it's just one super long kind of curved driveway, and it takes you right up to the ticket booths. And then once you go through the ticket booths, you can go straight toward Theater 1, which is our bigger theater, or you can take a left and go toward Theater 2, and our snack bar and restroom sit right in the middle of both those theaters. So the screens are kind of facing each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And shared snack bar, I take it.
Exactly, yep.
Now, in your guys' history there, do you know when you made the transfer from 35 millimeter to digital? Was that in your kind of run?
No, it wasn't. I don't know the exact year, but I'm pretty sure we've had these current digital projectors at least for 10 years. So
do you know what you guys are running?
No, the projector is not my
not your world. Yeah.
Oh no, I look at that thing and I'm like, how do they know how to run that? So whoever runs that, I'm very impressed.
Yeah, it's a whole other beast, running indoors with multiple screens. It's really nice that they're user friendly and they're automated. You don't really have to do much to get them going, but yeah, they're a whole other vehicle to drive. So it's something. Do you guys have any remnants of the 35 millimeter there, whether it's equipment or the actual projection system or snipes?
I don't think so. No, we're pretty much fully upgraded. If you looked in one of our closets, I'm sure you could find something. But no, everything's pretty much state of the art right now.
And as far as your guys' presentation, do you guys lean into any retro pre-show elements, or is it all modern trailers?
All modern. We pretty much play all first-run movies, so not a lot of repertory. We have a little slideshow that we made that kind of shows what we have in the snack bar and movie times, things like that. But yeah, mostly all current trailers.
Now I'm curious because we always run our traditional 35 millimeter intermission at our break. What do you guys run at your break? Do you have a digital intermission run?
No, really, our break is only like 15 minutes long. So we,
Wow.
yeah, a lot of people come for the first movie and just stay for the second because you don't have to pay again. It's just one price.
Sure,
So
built in.
a lot of people like to do that 2 for 1. So yeah, we have about 15 minutes in between to get any people who want to just see the second feature in. And yeah, we kind of just play our slideshow and then trailers again right before the next movie.
Very cool. Do you guys hold cars at the gate for that second movie, or do you let people in throughout the whole first movie?
We try to hold it as best as possible. I mean, if you're 5-10 minutes late, no big deal. But yeah, we try not to let people come like right in the middle. And if we do, we try to make sure their headlights are off because
Yeah,
we
the
get a
challenge.
lot of those complaints.
And it's always dependent on really what your layout is. Sometimes people
Yeah.
can get their customers in fairly easily without the light, but
Mhm.
driving your car at night and lights are pretty essential. So
Totally. Yes.
time to
Yeah.
time.
Difficult for sure.
Well, Jeff has been a projectionist practically all of his life, so I'm curious about the projection system and the layout. Do you guys share one booth for the both screens?
Yes, we have one booth and then we just have one projector each on each side, kind of facing opposite directions. And so
Right.
our projectionist has an office up there and he or she really stays up there the whole night and just making sure everything runs smoothly.
Yeah, now I'm intrigued. You're saying up there. Is it
Oh.
is it a second floor situation where it's like it's up?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, we have it above the snack bar.
Stop. So snack bar, and then on top of it is the projection booth?
Exactly. Yeah, but obviously only access for the employees through the snack bar up that staircase, yeah, to the projection booth.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So literally the projectionist is like, I'll be up in my chambers.
Yeah, they have a pretty good job besides actually working the projector.
Right, totally. And I guess with your guys' layout, you don't have any sort of issues as far as it blocking the screen from any given view, since you have the two screens.
No, yeah, it doesn't block either at all. We usually ask like the bigger cars to obviously park in the back rows so it's not blocking other customers' views. But as far as the snack bar goes, yeah, it's totally free from interrupting either of the screens.
Now, I take it because you're parking big cars in the back, you guys don't have humps. Are you flat land, no berms?
We have some bumps that have been there forever, but since obviously all the years that went by, they're a lot less bumpy than they used to be.
Right.
But yeah, we have some people who come in motorhomes, giant trucks. We had a plane once in like 1960 something.
Yes.
So, yeah, there's a little airport right next to us. So we've seen it all.
Oh, that's too cool. We actually have a private airport that's directly behind us.
Oh,
And
wow.
it is a huge appeal for people when they're waiting for the movie and all of a sudden like a helicopter or a plane takes off.
Wow.
They're wowed by it.
Yeah, I bet the little kids too. It's like an extra show.
Yeah, the drive-in is inherently magical, but you add, certain elements on top of it, and it's just crazy. So I'm curious, at least looking at some of your guys' photos, it looks like you're all blacktop. Is that true?
Yes, you mean like the asphalt, like where the cars?
Yes, yeah. So you
Yes.
guys aren't grass, you're all asphalt.
All asphalt. Yep. So we do a lot of patching throughout the year, but it's in pretty good shape since we did it in the beginning.
Yeah, I was going to ask, I don't know if you have the history and the knowledge. Is that a choice that they made at a certain point to be like, we're dealing with too much issues with the land, let's just lay down some asphalt, it'll be easier to deal with?
Yeah, I think so. It's been asphalt since I can remember. We even used to have a playground right under one of the screens that we had to unfortunately take away just for liability reasons, but
That's always the case. That's always
Yeah.
the case. Everybody has a
Yep.
historic playground that they're like, eventually, yeah, that's now like a death ground.
Right. Could be pretty dangerous. But
Totally.
yeah, it's been asphalt forever.
And I guess no different. I just wonder, like, we deal with extreme temperatures throughout that summer season. Having that heat bounce back up off of you, is it noticeably hot on the lot?
Definitely during the day, it is very warm. At night, obviously, once the sun goes down, it's not as warm, and it really never gets higher than like 80s here.
Yeah.
So we're lucky with that. But yeah, it's definitely more popular to come in the summer when it's still warm outside to watch the
Yeah.
movies.
Absolutely. Now that we're talking to drive-in owners, not just across America, but across the world, we're always curious about what sells for them in the concession stand. What is your big hot item? Do you do anything special throughout the week to try to entice people to come into the stand?
Sure, I love that question, and I'd be curious to hear other people's answers too. But
Yeah.
definitely our number one item is nachos with extra jalapenos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we
Do you
get
guys work
half
with
of that.
Rico's at all? Do you know
No,
where
we
you get your
don't.
nachos from?
Yeah, we get pretty much our chips from Smart and Final, but our cheese is from I don't know if you guys have this store, but it's called Sam's Club.
Yeah, we do.
Okay,
Totally.
yes. So we get our cheese from Sam's Club, and if we ever change it, we will never hear the end of it. We tried
The
to change it
audience lets
once.
you know.
Yes, we tried to change it once and we went back right away. So that's definitely their favorite item for sure.
Oh, that's too cool. Do you guys offer any sweet treats in the concession stand? We found talking to Dave, who runs the Lunar Drive-In in Australia, that he gets a huge bump offering sweet treats as like a second dip at the or bite at the apple with going into the concession stand.
And what they offer
Oh,
there is hot jelly donuts.
Yes.
that sounds so good. Nothing as good as a hot jelly donut, but we definitely have all the candy, obviously all the popular ones. We have ice cream, but nothing super specialty like a jelly donut, but maybe we'll have to add that in.
What is the if a customer is to walk into your snack bar, what's the process? Is it a self-serve? Is it made to order? I looked at some photos online. It looks like you have a relatively sizable food prep area in there.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we have a pretty large kitchen. So when you walk in, you can walk in from either side as a customer. And there, we have two lanes that kind of encase the whole kitchen snack bar area. So
Yes.
nothing self-serve. We do it all, cook burgers, popcorn, candy, all of that. But it's pretty effective to have those two lanes and, four separate entrances and exits.
Oh, wow. So your corral system will lead to multiple cashiers?
We have two cashiers, yes. So there's like two entrances and then two exits at the end and two cashiers on each side.
So even though it's not self-serve as far as people reaching into warmers and loading up a tray, I take it you guys have a ton of food prep before your gates open.
Yes, definitely. Popcorn number one, of course. We have
Yep.
that popping right away. And yeah, we make pizzas, hamburgers, grilled cheese, hot dogs. We have hot chocolate, tea, pretty much all the basics.
I love it. Grilled cheese. We never
Yeah.
thought of that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we have a kids meal, which a lot of families like. So they can pick a slice of pizza, a hot dog, or a grilled cheese. And then they get one junior candy. So one of the little smaller sizes. Usually we give them like the gummy bears. And then we actually give them like a little toy, whether it's like a glow stick or whatever
Stop.
we find that day. Yeah, so that's super
That's
popular.
genius. That is genius.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
that's the
kids
type
love
of
it.
stuff we love hearing. Like, at a certain point, you guys had the know-how to be like, we're getting a lot of kids in here. What would really spice it up for them? Let's give them like a Happy Meal toy.
Totally. Yeah, that's basically what it is.
Oh, that's genius. I love that. I got a 5-year-old, so I know the power of the Happy Meal toy.
Oh, awesome. Yes.
Let's go to the drive-in. They're giving away glow sticks.
Right.
So I imagine being first run, you really are at the beck and call of what Hollywood is doing. But what movies do well traditionally for you at the Santee?
Exactly. Yeah. All first run. Our most popular are definitely family friendly films, something that, the kids and parents would enjoy. So that's number one. Number two would probably be like action adventure films, all the Marvel movies. And then three would be horror.
Yeah, we find the fans are rabid for the horror experience, especially when we're playing classics.
Yes.
But it is amazing how Hollywood has reinvented itself over and over again, especially since the pandemic. It's become like a whole other world out there. Do you find running throughout the whole year that it gets tough at a certain point to get fresh material, fill both screens with a fresh double? Do you hit any of those walls?
Oh yeah, definitely. Sometimes we play movies for weeks in a row because there's nothing better out there, or nothing new coming along. We try to do two different movies every time. Sometimes we'll do single bill if it's a more popular movie and there's nothing else that we can really pair it with.
Sure.
But we try to do double as much as we can. But yeah, it's definitely tough, especially with the streaming services. I'm sure you guys feel the same. But obviously summers have better movies than the winters we find.
Yeah, every couple generations have to deal with a big shift. And, we hear about it talking to owners about the heartache of when the television became popular, and then the heartache of when cable became popular, and then VHS. And all these things were challenges that at the time, seemingly, were going to bring down the drive-in. And the beautiful thing is that, we have found ways to roll with it and be tenacious and find ways to present our business that's appealing beyond the comfort of your own home. And it's really inspiring to see all the owners across the country rolling with what is probably the hardest time for Hollywood in our history.
Oh yeah, totally. That's a super awesome perspective. I think the drive-ins are unique because people can't really replicate them, especially, in the area we are. Who's going to buy 20 acres of land in San Diego and put a drive-in on it? It's pretty rare. And so I think that unique experience of people coming and driving and seeing a movie outside is something that can't really be replicated.
Oh, absolutely. Nothing like it. So we talked a little bit about your layout and the industrial state. What is the drive-in layout out there in California? Do you have some drive-ins that are within arm's reach of you? Your circuit, if you will?
Yes, we do. We have one other drive-in that's probably, I think it's about 25-30 minute drive from us, still in San Diego, but that's really the only main drive-in in San Diego, and San Diego's still left. So there's about two of us.
That's fantastic. I mean, the drive-in and its history, every town had one, and it was within driving distance to everybody. And it's interesting to see how the cards lay with these closures on having some, neighboring drive-ins that still have been able to make it work. Do you know if there were drive-ins around you that closed within your run there?
No. It's pretty much been us and the other drive-in, which is South Bay. And I don't know any that we're still running as long as I can remember. But one interesting fact is that my grandpa actually owned 5 other drive-ins, one in Laverne, Stockton, Westminster, and Anaheim. None of them are still in existence. We're the only one left, but I just thought that was a fun fact. Yeah.
That's incredible. So in
Your childhood, were any of those other drive-ins still operating, or did they fall to the wayside pretty early?
Yeah, not in my childhood. So pre 1995, they were sold, and I'm sure the land was used for other things. But yeah, he just figured why not buy land and put drive-ins on it? They're cheap to build and make good money back then. So yeah, that was
Grandpa's a smart man. He is a smart man. I mean, just like you said with the Santee, they were like, well, we have the land. Let's create a little business on it that's not too cumbersome on our lives. And the idea that he did that times 5 and was able to sell off 4 of them, that's a pretty good run.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, he was definitely business savvy.
Do you guys do any specialty events throughout the year? I mean, obviously you have the swap meets. Do you guys ever do any specialty kind of kickback retro programming throughout the year?
Definitely around the holidays. Sometimes we'll do like the classic Christmas movies or Halloween movies, things like that. The swap meet does run a few car shows per year, which are pretty popular. But yeah, I wish we could play more repertory. I love repertory, all the classics, but they just don't do as well as those first runs seem to do.
Yeah, I mean, when you've established your business as first run, it's really, really a jarring shift for you to say, oh, by the way, we're not showing new movies anymore. But I
Right.
am curious and kind of jealous of anybody with more than one screen. Does it give you the opportunity to kind of play with one screen where you're like, okay, I know I'm playing Ant-Man this week, but I do have this other screen that maybe I can try something else out on? Or is it more the safe bet?
We usually go with the safe bet. That's a good question. Especially even with 2 screens, that's only 4 movies. And we try to play a first run at least 2, maybe 3 weeks so that everyone gets a chance to see it.
Yeah.
So just the way the movie industry is, we usually have first runs coming every couple weeks that we want to play.
It makes sense. We are totally the anomaly when it comes to the drive-in industry. The fact that we're able to make retro work, but the idea that you guys have a marketing machine that is pumping out the attention on your feature in everybody's household for weeks, there's a lot of benefit in that. And we see the opposite where, even though a movie is considered quote unquote classic, sometimes you got to resell it to people and tell them and let them know why
Yeah.
it is a classic, like why would we
Yeah,
want to come see
totally.
this?
Right. No, that makes sense. Yeah, you definitely have to market a little more. I could see, and I mean, I'm a classic lover, so I would love to go see all the classics. But yeah, the first runs seem to do well.
That's great. That's fantastic. Any drive-in that is thriving and is still open and has figured it out, like that's really what this podcast is about, is not only informing the drive-in fans of how people make it work, but really the other owners as well, and seeing what our kin is doing across the country.
Yeah, totally. I've been listening to some of your other guys' episodes, and it's so interesting to hear what all the other owners have to say. And I feel like we can really learn a lot from each other. So I really appreciate what you guys are doing.
Absolutely. I mean, we are in a small group, but it really is fascinating to hear, even when you're talking to somebody in a different country, how much similarities there are in our businesses and our day-to-day run. It's very, very cool. So do you have to deal with a lot of weather out there? I mean, when I think of California, I think of them sunny skies. Do you get a lot of rainouts or weather issues?
No, I mean, compared to the other parts of the country, we feel super lucky. The weather is usually very mild. I think in Santee specifically, we have about 37 days of rain per year, but a lot of those days are a sprinkle or only in the morning, not at night. We try to stay open, rain or shine. Obviously, the days that we're open and it's raining, a lot less people come, which makes sense. But yeah, we've been toying with the idea of closing when it rains. I think this winter has been a little more harsh for us, which is why it's kind of on the forefront of our minds. So that's something that we've kind of been thinking about because, at least for me personally, if it was raining, I would not want to go to the drive-in. But especially if it only rains a couple days a year, you have so many other days to
choices
go.
and options. I'll just wait
Yeah,
Till tomorrow. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
exactly.
with you guys being 7 days, a lot of drive-ins might only be weekends, so you might only have that Friday or that Saturday opportunity to go. But when you have, I mean, your films will play for a full 7 days, right? So you've got 6 other
Exactly.
days to choose from.
Yep, totally. So, yeah, that's something we've been thinking about. But for now, yeah, we're open every single day. It's been colder this winter, and obviously summers are so nice. So the summers definitely keep us in business for sure.
How cold does it get for you at its worst?
At night, at its very worst, very, very worst, I would say like high 30s, but that is like very rare. Recently it's been like in the high to mid 40s, which is pretty cold here.
Ideal. That's some good weather though. We'll take that.
We do feel super lucky. We think it's cold, but I'm sure you guys think it's not very cold. But yeah, most of the time it's like mid 60s at night, which is so nice.
Well, I want to give you the opportunity to let people know, where they can find you and everything else before I kick it over to the guys for some questions. Do you do the social media thing?
Yes, we do. We started doing social media once we took over. Our website is just SanteeDrive-In-Theater.com. Theater spelled with a R-E at the end instead of an E-R. And then
Classic.
on Instagram, yes, gotta keep it classic. And then we do have an Instagram, which is just at Santee Drive-In Theater.
I gotta ask, are you doing the TikTok or what?
Oh no, I'm still a millennial, so I'm not in the TikTok genre. A little more Gen Z.
It's funny because some owners are like, I got my concession crew doing it for me, because we're in the same boat where it's like, it almost seems like we're forcing material onto this platform we have no idea about.
Right. No, I'm honestly still lost, but the concession people and some other employees, that's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, they're all talking it up or whatever they call it.
Right.
Well, Jeff, do you have any questions for Krista?
I've been thinking about it. I've been absorbing everything that she said, and it's really sounds like a very interesting place. I'm going to keep thinking and pass it on to Mark if he has any. I'm going to see if I can come up with some. But Virgil, like I said, you're such a good leader on these questions that usually I don't have a lot left. So
I second that. You're a very good interviewer.
He is.
Thank
He's very good. He's very good. He's a great public relations guy. He really is. And Mark is right up there with him. I'm usually quiet and I like to listen and pick stuff up. But Mark, do you have anything?
The question I have is, you mentioned snack bar staff. How big a staff do you have at the Santee?
Total, we have about 15 employees. We usually have 1 or 2 in the boxes. It depends, obviously, if it's a weekend or a summer weekend, we have more people on the lot. But we usually have about 1 or 2 people in the box, about 2 or 3 on the lot, and then 4 to 5 in the snack bar. Obviously, like winter and weekdays, it could be 2 people in the snack bar as opposed to 4 or 5. But yeah, about 15 altogether.
And do you do advanced ticket sales, or is it all at the box office?
No, it's all at the box office. We were actually all cash only up until we took over in 2020, and we finally put in credit cards. So we do now take credit cards, but yeah, we were cash only that whole entire time.
Welcome to the future.
It's definitely different.
So for us, we often will base our staffing. We started doing advanced ticket sales during COVID to try to do the contactless thing, and we use that to help sort of gauge how much staff we will need for a weekend, because we sort of say, okay, based on the pre-sales, we think it's going to be this busy. Do you do it, as you say, based on the film's earning potential, or drawing potential, or based on the weather, or what? Because if it's a crazy busy night, would you think about calling in reinforcements, or do you figure that 4 is going to be fine?
That's a good question. Yeah, so we don't do any advanced ticket sales. We're all just up front at the ticket booth when you arrive. Luckily, we have about over 1,000 car spots, so we never usually sell out. I think the last time we sold out was maybe Top Gun. But yeah, we pretty much just base staffing off of, like you said, the movie potential, and then obviously if it's a weekend versus a weeknight. But we've had some employees working there for years and years and years, so they know exactly how many people we need each night, and they all live local. So yeah, like you said, if we unexpectedly get a bunch of people, then we'll call in a few more people to come help out, but it usually works out pretty well.
That's excellent that you have that ability to call in the cavalry, so to speak.
Yeah,
People
definitely.
don't, because as we said, most of our employees live a bit farther away. So in a pinch, if we said, "Hey, can you get down here?" because we're overrun, they'd be like, "I'll see you in an hour," depending on.
Right. Yeah, we're lucky. There's a lot of neighborhoods and housing nearby, and some of our employees, like I said, have worked there forever. So they just really have a good handle on everything, which we're so fortunate.
So I had a couple of sort of structural questions. What aspect of the theater requires the most maintenance? Now, having a paved lot, you're not having to worry about mowing the lawn or the amount of gravel on the lot or anything like that. So what is it that takes up time to, make sure it remains functioning or make sure it remains pretty or something like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. We have staff during the day, during the weekdays that come and clean the restrooms. And we do have a lot of mature trees on the property that we own. So that kind of takes up a lot of time, just always trimming those and making sure that everything doesn't block the screen. And then obviously, I think the biggest one is the projectors, just the fact that since they are digital, if something breaks, it's super expensive to fix, and we can't really fix it ourselves. So I think that is definitely the biggest one, but luckily that doesn't happen too often. We just had a bulb burst inside of the projector, which was pretty scary, but we have a pretty good team that comes and helps us fix it. But yeah, a lot of maintenance for the restrooms and cleaning and just cleaning the lot, trash. I'm sure you guys see that stuff too.
Looking at the lot, the miracle of Google Maps and Google Street View actually was great. I was able to virtually basically drive right up to your ticket booths to see
good
what it's like.
Future.
Isn't that amazing?
That.
So seeing, where it's located amongst, development and industrial buildings and things like that, do you have any issues with light on your screens from all that surrounds you?
Currently, no. We did have a little issue with a high school that was nearby because they built like a whole new state-of-the-art football stadium, and the lights were going like directly into right behind one of our screens. But a couple years ago, we actually contacted them, and they totally like fixed the lighting. I don't know how,
Wow.
but they turned them a different way or something.
That's much better than kick rocks.
I know. They were super, super nice. I think maybe just because we've been here forever and those teachers and students probably come all the time. But
Yep.
yeah, that was really the only issue we've ever run into. And a lot of the industrial buildings that are our neighbors are really only functional during the day. So yeah, we don't have any issues with lighting or neighbors or anything like that.
Well, that's excellent. And it speaks toward being valued in your community, being around as long as you have. And we've found the same thing is sometimes when issues come up and we have to, ask for help from the townspeople or the town council or something like that. Those people all grew up going to our drive-in. Their parents grew up going to that drive-in. We joke that some of them might be a result of their parents going to the drive-in.
Yep.
So it's nice to have friends.
Definitely. Yeah, we feel super lucky. We have a really good community.
I'll tell you, Krista, this is Jeff again. I did think of one question, just because I'm into the physical layout of the drive-in. That front screen, your original screen, is that still the same one that they did with their own hammer and nails?
It is. Yep. It's still made out of wood and
Oh, wow.
and nails. Yep. So it does get a little scary around fire season. But yeah, the two screens are still original.
Standing the test of time.
That's great. That front screen, if that's the original one they built with those hammer and nails all those years ago, then it's been well taken care of.
Definitely. Yeah. We always power wash the screens. We try to do it about once or twice a year, try to get as much brightness as we can out of those. I don't know if you guys have run into that issue at all, but
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we've definitely had some complaints about the screen being too dark, but it's really out of our control. Like, we turn the bulbs as bright as we can, and it really just has to do with the way the movie was shot. If it's a extra dark movie,
Did
so,
you guys
yeah.
run the Batman?
Exactly.
I was just going to ask about the Batman. Yeah.
Yes,
Every drive-in owner hates the Batman.
Yes, the Batman was probably the worst we've seen so far. I've actually gotten a few people complaining about Ant-Man, which has been a little concerning, but our movie booker, I don't know if you guys use a movie booker directly, like a movie booking agent. But she's been in the industry forever, and she told us that they used to make special drives for drive-ins specifically, where they would turn the brightness up. Okay, so you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, we run 35 millimeters, so Jeff can tell you, and has told us many a time, about drive-in prints that they produced, which pretty much was an f-stop, less
Brighter.
or more? Brighter, yeah.
One f-stop brighter. But the trouble is, of course, they don't do that anymore because they're not making 35 millimeter prints anymore. So they don't do that. But we try to make our customers understand that you're dealing with certain limitations that drive-ins cannot overcome, especially if you're still doing film like we are, because we have customers, they think they're TV sets. They come to, can you turn the brightness up? We're like, no,
right, exactly.
This is not a television set. But
yeah.
So we are gradually starting this year. We have 4,500 watt bulbs right now, and gradually we're going to go up to 5,000 this year. Hopefully the beginning of the year, and we're going to see if we can bring it up a little bit. But it's never going to be digital. There are certain limitations you just can't get out of it.
Right. Yeah. And even with ours being digital, we still run into issues. So yeah, it's something I wish the movie industry would recognize and make some sort of special accommodations, but we all know that probably will never happen.
Yeah, it's amazing how they don't
listen to us.
yeah, exactly.
But for digital, I mean, it really does seem like an easy solution for them to send you a DCP that is just literally a little bit brighter. Would not be hard at all. You know?
Right. Yeah.
I guess them going and taking that process, figuring out who needs what, is more work than benefit for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably it. You're exactly right, Virgil. That's probably it. It's not worth, they have how many indoor theaters compared to 300 and some drive-ins in the entire country, and it's probably just not worth their time to even bother, unfortunately.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah, you would think they would want every single experience to be as perfect as possible, but hey, maybe that's just me. Well, Krista, this has been amazing. We love doing these interviews. You've been fantastic. You can really hear the passion and love that you have for the business that you run, which is 90% of it.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I have so much fun doing it, and I really appreciate you guys reaching out. I had so much fun, and if I'm ever in Pennsylvania, I will definitely be coming to the drive-in.
Oh, same. We're going to come in and grab some nachos.
Amazing. Yeah, if you guys are ever in San Diego, let me know.
Well, be sure to check out the Santee on Instagram, on the socials, and be sure to give them some love. And if you're ever out in the San Diego area, swing by and say hi to Krista.
Yes, definitely. We'd love to welcome everyone. And I just wanted to say I love your laugh, so I hope Mark doesn't edit your laugh out.
It's my calling card, yes.
We may do an episode that is solely his laugh.
There you go.
People always say they'll come to the lot and be like, hey, where's Virgil at? And be like, just listen for 2 seconds. Starts bouncing off the screen.
Yeah, you'll know exactly where he is.
Well, I love it.
Oh, you're a dream. We love you. All right, on that note, Jeff, take it away, my friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for coming out tonight to the Mahoning Drive-In Theater. We hope you'll come back and see us again real soon. The exit is on the right-hand side of the screen at the front of the field, and most importantly, have a very safe trip home. Good night and God bless you.